chose this green theme to kind of go with this picture here, but I could just as well have chosen a blue. I think this time I'm going to go blue. So I'm going to go back to fireworks. I'm going to click on that hue saturation, and I'm going to move this over till I get a nice blue. That's looking pretty good right there. And I'm going to click OK. And now, so I started out with one of these styles over here. I started out with this green one, and then once it had been selected, I came and made changes here on the filters, and I got it to look the way I look. The way I want my button to look. If I wanted to change my text, they do have some choices down here that were designed specifically for text. I would want to make a choice that would show up. That one doesn't show up too well. I like to hit Apple Z every time I make a choice, and then if I don't like it, it goes back to where I started. That one's not too bad. That one's just crazy. Anyway, at this point, if you would like, you could pause the guide and go through here and find the colors for your rectangle and the style you want for your text. And then when you got those choices made, go ahead and start the guide up again, and we will continue on with what we're going to do. Okay, hopefully at this point you've got your text and your rectangle choices made. The next part we're going to do here, we're going to change from up to over. So if you just click on over, initially there's nothing here. I'm going to move this little panel out of the way. But if you look right here on the button panel, there's a little choice here to copy the up graphic. And if I click on that, you can see that right away it put the exact same thing in the exact same place. I'm going to click on this, and I want to make a change. Now this is what the button is going to look like when somebody rolls over it. So I am going to change it from this blue, let's see here, to red. And you can go back and forth from up to over to get a little preview of what it's going to look like when somebody rolls over it. Maybe let's see what this would look like. That's too much. That's better. Let's look at that. There's up, and there's where they roll over it. I like that. I'm going to go with that. And if you need to, again, you can stop the guide at this point until you've made the choices you want to make. When you're all done, start the guide up again. Okay, at this point, hopefully you've made the choices you need for over. Now we're going to go to down, and it's the same thing again. Copy over graphic, and it pops up here. This is what it looks like when somebody clicks on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to choose my text and change it to look like that. I think I'll put a little black line around the outside of my letters. So that's what it looks like when somebody clicks on it. So here's my button just sitting here. Here's what it looks like when they roll over, and then when they actually click on it, it'll look like that. Okay? And then, like I said, we're going to skip over while down, and now we're going to go to active area. If you need to stop until you've made your choices for down, you can stop the guide and then start back up. Now that you've got your choices for down, we're going to go to active area. And if you look at this, if I select my active area, right now my active area is as big as this whole blue area. And that is just way too big. And it automatically is set. And so I'm going to uncheck that. I want to be able to change the active area because this is way too big. This blue shape right here, well, it's green with a blue border. It should be the same size and location as my button. So I'm just going to grab this corner and make this smaller, bring it up to right there. Here's where changing those guides kind of helps. I need to move this down some. I'm going to grab this other corner to go like that. And then that's all you have to do, is just make a change like that so that the size of this green shape here is the same size as your button. And then once you're done with that, we're done with this first button. I'm going to click done, and we go out of that and we come back to our original file and we see our button here. And this one is going to be for friends, and I'll show you how to set up the links for it. We'll do that next. I went to the Finder. I'm going to go to the desktop. I'm going to go to my folder where my website is, and then since that button is for my friends, I'm going to click on friends, and I didn't double click, I just clicked once so that friends.html is selected, and I'm going to hit Command C or Apple C, and then if I come back to Fireworks, I'll bring this up here so you can see it. My button is selected. It says down here on the Properties panel that the text for that button is My Friends. Right now there is no link, so I click inside the link window and then Command V, and it puts the exact same text as what the file actually has, and that's what I want. Now I'm going to click on this button to make sure it's selected, Apple C to copy the button, Apple V to paste the button, and I'm going to put this one up at the top, and the text for the very top button I'm going to change, and this is pretty cool. You'll see as I type and then hit return, it'll change it. I'm going to put home and hit return, and you can see up at the top that the button actually changed. Now we know that the actual page is called index, so I'm going to click once on that file to copy the name of it, and then I'm going to come over here. You'll see it still has the link from what I copied the button from, so I select that and Apple V. So that button now has the correct link. And I'm going to come and get my friends button, and I'm going to move it up because that is the second button that I want to have. Get it about like that. Then I'm going to paste again. Apple, that didn't work. I have to copy my button. I forgot. So I'm going to click and copy and paste. And now I have a third button that I'm going to put right here. So I've got my home button, I've got my friends button. This third button is my classes. So with it selected, I'm going to come down here and type my classes. Then I'm going to come over here, and where is that file? Right there. I select my classes file once, Apple C to copy the name of it, come back, the button's still selected, and then I come to the link window on the Properties panel and paste classes.html. Then I am going, see these 4 dots? That's telling me that's the selection area for that button. Remember when we had to change the active area? That's why we had to change it, because there's an effect on something I chose that makes it that big. So to deselect, I'm going to hit Apple Shift A, and then I'm going to click on my button, Apple C to copy, Apple V to paste, bring this down,